Right, so I'm back from the water, and it's just magical what you do when you have faith and when you believe and when you speak to the unknown, unseen realms. Not unknown because we know them, but some of us know them. Some of us are open to things that are unexplainable in a scientific, rational, left brain logic sense. And I'm really grateful for what this journey has shown me. And as I embark on a new decade, I move through my Earth Strong portal recently, and times are, up and down. We have good moments, we have bad moments, and recently I've been I desire to have a more feminine connection around me, and sort of was praying or speaking to the powers that be, as we do, and I'm connected to certain tribes of the ancestors of this land through some of the people that I love dearly. Their people look after me, and I know this because I've said this before on this channel about the Luo, and I don't have preference for anyone because I love all of them. It just seems that I have a very deep connection to the Luo people, and I'm on the coast, so it's not necessarily a given because this is Jikenda, Giriyama sort of territory. But I had a moment and I was praying. I was just like, why this and why that and da-da-da, and please, I just really want sister connection, and I miss the divine feminine. And again, not miss because I'm not in lack, and obviously there are reasons why we pass through imbalances of masculine and feminine energy external to us so that it can show us where we need to be doing the work and stuff. And as we know, I've said before, I've got pretty feisty, strong warrior masculine energy, so that's why the water for me is really, really powerful and potent when there's huge spikes in energy, and I can be I can get in the fire pretty quick. So there's a few things here. So I'm connecting obviously more with animals from this land, one thing, and the sisters. So I was walking down to the water maybe 2-3 days ago, and there was this beautiful white puppy dog that I saw, and it wasn't well, and I could see that it was maybe on its last legs, and it really is difficult because I don't know, I didn't have the vet number and I don't know what it needs, and I was trying to give it water, it just didn't want me around. It was like not happy, so it wandered off maybe to the owners, and I'm not here to judge people or pet care, pet health here, but I just go with what my feelings are. And when I see animals and things, I'm meant to be either there as a guardian before they leave the realm or whatever. But anyway, this pup was not in a good way, and it didn't want to see me, so I just left water for it. So I carried on, and then the next rising I was in the forest, so I didn't come to the water straight away, and then didn't get to see it that day. And then today I didn't expect to see it because I'm embarking on a new season, and so it wasn't really in my head, although I had prayed for him. And then I sort of walked to the water and I saw it, and I stopped because I thought if I get too close he might not want to hang around me, and I've got to give him some water. And he just looked awful today, and my heart sank because I just thought, like, I just don't know at this point if there's anything that I can do. And I was there and bent down, and sort of I go into this bubble of healing energy and was just trying to talk to him, and even he wouldn't let me touch his leg. He was screaming in pain, and it reminded me of the puppy that I sort of nursed to the other side in Jamaica, who was not bitten on the head by a chicken, and it got worse overnight, and he had a hemorrhage, brain hemorrhage or something wrong, and I just had to nurse him, and it was awful because he was screaming all night. But anyway, so this pup, who I later find out his name's Toby, so if anyone can send love to Toby, that'd be really good. But he was, not that he didn't want me around this time, I just don't think he had the strength in him to move. And so he did lick some of the water, because what I realised, he must have consumed something toxic, because he literally couldn't stand up. I don't know if it was about dehydration, more about having poison in the body. And I'm just like, what do I do? And then people were like, I'm single, because, there's just this me and my dunga's just like bending down with this, talking to this animal. And I shut everything off externally. So these guys were like, so what's happening? Why haven't the owners, look after him? And I think they did me a solid, because I think they spoke to the owners, because I don't know, and I don't want to get involved in local dynamics, and I don't know what, I'm not here to judge anybody. So I think they spoke in Swahili, and at the minute I don't want to be coming and saying things in English because that's just rude. So I think they were like, but where's the owners, and where's the dog? Like, is it okay? Why don't they take him to the vet? And I was just like, I don't know. I said, I'm just going, in my head I was thinking, right, I've got to either get him down to the water, because the salt water heals, but he wouldn't let me touch him, he'd bite me. So I thought, right, I'm going to go and swim, and it's not going to be a very nice swim today, but I'll just fill up my flask with the salt water and come back and sort of bathe him and clean him up, because his eyes were all gummy and he just needed to like clean. So in the time that I'd gone to the water and me there, like, I also wondered if you'd like stay where I was or if you'd go. I got to the water and there was a lady walking to the water, and it was so clean and fresh, which changes depending on the cycle of the moons and the seaweed and various stuff, but it was like heaven. It was heavenly. And I'm like, in this new decade, but I can't be happy because I feel this pain of this screaming dog, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And then I just like said to her, Mamba, and she's Mamba. Because, some people like their rising time, and I don't always talk when I'm down there, and sometimes I say to people, hi, but, I'm just in meditation. But today, I got into the water, and she's like, hi, my name's... And I said, yeah, my name's Victoria, and we chatted. And it was like a gift from God. It was a gift from the heavens, because not only was she Lua, not from this land, we had so many connections, and also her prayers from the previous days were about like meeting authentic, kind people that see us for who we are, and just we'd had very similar messages that we'd put out, and being in the same proximity. I mean, she's a bit further down the road from me, but I just thought, hey up, this is a little bit of a funny one. This is a bit of a daydream. And I was like, okay, well, I won't stay too long, because I just met this dog and she thought it was my pet. I was like, it's not my pet, I just feel animal pain, and I can't see that. It makes me feel sick, and maybe I'm just meant to be there to see him over to the other side. And so, but we were in the water, and we just sort of exchanged some stories, and found out she was Lua, so that was great. And her business aligned with me, and just some stories really. And then as we were playing around, because women we just get like out in the water, and it was just a blessing. There was no one else there, it was just like two goddesses just in the water, and I was just like, oh, there's a fish. And the reason I saw one more is because it came up and it went out of the water, and usually it wasn't super high tide, probably about 2 hours out from high tide, a little bit later than me in the rising, but I'm getting to know the tide times it's quite important for me to know the tide times anyway. But that's a side note. We're in the rising, so we can stand up, it's like waist level. And I see these two fish. I was like, there's a fish there. I was about to say her name, but I'm not sharing private information. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, there's another fish. And it's just come out of the water. And I was like, but this is so strange. I was like, this is like, they were circling us. Like, there was another sacred sister in the UK that I have a very deep connection with. And when we first met, I can feel the wind, this is energy. When we first met, we were circled by this white dove. And I was like, okay, I know what this relationship is about. And then today, in the water, exchanging various things, this new decade, and we were talking, and she's like, oh, they must like our energy. And she said, maybe it sounds like we're singing, because she was like, and I was like, and I don't usually chat too much in the water, so she was like, maybe we're like music to them. And I thought that's such a lovely way to put it, is that we sound like music to these fish. The frequency is felt. So never have fish come close up when I'm around anyone here. If I'm in the rise and doing some special meds and on my own, I've seen flying fish, and I've seen the sea serpent I told you last time, but that was further down the coast. And loads of other things that I don't explain on here, but other people will know when you have a deep connection to nature and when you nurture this, other magical things can happen. They just wouldn't leave. It was not only one, two came, and one was a bigger one and a smaller one. I didn't know if it's mum and baby, and they're just circling us. And I was just like, I can't actually, and we've just met, so I'm not aware of coming across kooky, but I was just like, sis, I'm just going to say this now. This has got me very emotional. I've got tingles. Like, these fish are circling us and they're not moving. I said, I've never, ever been in the water here and this has happened, especially with another person. And she's like, yeah, it must be a blessing, and da-da-da, and it was just... And I thought, God, maybe our voices, maybe it was frequency. And what a beautiful way to go. And they weren't the only animals present in the water. Like where fish don't usually visit all the time, there's others that visit while I'm in the water, land-based animals and things that fly over and various stuff. And I just thought, how incredible, 1 minute I've got this awful situation with this dog and I've got to be a guide, I've got to go back to him and I'm going to have a shit swim because I just can't be happy, and I say what I need to say to the water spirits and to send love to Toby and to bless the water that I'm going to fill in my flask to go back to bathe him in salt water. And then I meet this beautiful woman who's not from here and is just trying to make it out here on her own, just like me. And I just thought, wow, okay, this is a message from another place in time. And really give thanks because I really needed that sister, that dada connection. It's really important to me. Really, really important to me. And despite what people think. And so I said, okay, so you go that way, I'll go that way. I'm going to go and see this dog and I'm going to check. And then I went back there and the dog wasn't there. And I looked around and I saw a dwelling and I was just like, is there a dog here? And I said, can I come in, have some salt water from the beach? And I was just like, asked them who they were and just introduced myself. I said, do you mind if I talk to him? And he was just like, got so, and I don't know why I'm sharing. I'm sorry to share if this is upset. I know some people I know and watch this love animals, and it's just, I guess I'm sharing Toby's story so that anyone watching can send Toby love, because it was just awful to see. He's dying. He was looking like he was dying, and then someone said, because of what the boys had said earlier, someone said, and I don't know if this is true or not, and I can't judge, someone's gone to get his medication, because I tried to put the salt water on it and he screamed at me, and he tried to hobble up my way and he fell over. He's just not on this realm, and it's very difficult to see, but we accept life is given and life is taken in ways that we can't really comprehend. And I just wanted to be a friend there for him, and I was upset that I'd upset him more by putting salt water on him, but I knew that having that on his body, because his eyes were all gangy and gummy, and anyway, so I trust that medication will reach him in the ways it needs to in his body, and that, the animals know that we love them. And the fish there were for a blessing for me, and maybe a little bit of their magic came into the flask with me and came back. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because, I don't know, there's other energies that always talk to us. And I say, as on this journey, is we're not perfect, we're just learning our gifts, we're learning these new frequencies that are opening up to us. And some people will be drawn to animals, others children, others elders, others plants, others other types of energy exchange with different beings. And I think it's really important that we nurture that, because like we're given life and it's really not to be taken for granted. So I really trust that was a blessing in the water, new decade, new era. And some people say the 40s are the best, naughty 40s and all that. So in a moderate sense, because we're not purists, but I am a responsible adult as well, is welcoming in new eras. I'll spread love to those who are moving across the realms. If they're leaving Earth, going somewhere else, I pay you love and respect and give thanks for your existence. 1441 on the clock, and I've got to keep it moving.